Yeah! Indian! Yes, sir.
Detroit basketball.
For the Warriors, who have led by as many as 31. Here's Williams, puts on the brakes and scores.
Stay with him, maybe even try to deny. Too late.
Thompson for three. Rebounded by the Clippers. Away by Curry. An open shot. Shannon able to knock it down. First lead for the Clippers since it was 12-11. The rookie, Landry Shannon, out of Wichita State, a first-round pick of the Sixers. They traded him to the Clippers, and hitting this clutch shot off the fake against.
And that was the Clippers coming back from down 31 points in Oracle. 3-1, 31. They lost a 3-1 lead to the Cavs in the 16 finals.
Jokes.
It's a
28 plus 3. The Falcons blew a 28-3 lead against the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
It's all a conspiracy.
Okay,
It all connects.
yes, but they keep giving us reasons to bring back the 3-1 jokes, Malik. The Warriors do it to themselves. Welcome into the show. Views from the Sideline, April 16th, 2019. I'm your host, Chris Pappas. Alongside me, Joey Tysick and Malik Hill.
Ben Wallace didn't make the Hall of Fame. I'm upset right now.
First of all, I can't even look at
I'm
Chris
angry.
today. Malik, we got a problem.
What's the problem? What's wrong?
What is
happened?
Look at this kid's t-shirt.
Listen, as a fan of the Major League movies, I support the Cleveland Indians sometimes. Not all the time,
What?
but sometimes.
Okay, all right.
I'm in the
Especially
wrong
Wild
place.
Thing.
I am
Alright.
in the wrong
I need
place.
to-
If it was a Cavs jersey, if it was a,
It says Cleveland across his chest. You know how many times this kid dogs Cleveland? Well, I could go back and it
You
would
could
take
make a-
almost too much time to make
You
that
could-
kind of montage.
You could make a whole show
Yeah,
about how
when you
many
bring up that,
Probably.
when you bring up that point, yeah, it's sketchy.
we have what? I think we're on 60 some episodes now.
63.
And each one is an hour. And I'm sure Chris mentions Cleveland, how he hates them at least once in each of those episodes. That's a lot of time. That's over 60 hours
So
of Cleveland talk.
Sometimes you lose bets, and
here's the thing. All right, let me
things
explain
happen.
myself.
Yeah.
I lost a bet. I gotta own up to losing a bet, and I gotta rock the Cleveland Indians shirt today.
What was the bet?
So
Yes.
last
was
week,
it at least a good bet, or did you just
So
set
last
yourself
week-
up for failure?
last week during the first series between the Tigers and the Indians, Tigers are hot.
So you set yourself up for
So
failure.
Tigers are hot. They're 7-3 heading into it. Indians, I think, were 7-3 too heading into it on a 5-game win streak. Go ahead. You got something you want to add?
But you should have known that was going to end very quickly.
I was riding the hot streak, the winning streak,
Riding-
the Detroit Buzz. They lose game 1, 8-2. Not feeling good. Then they come back. They win game 2 of the series. It's tied 1-1. Then the Indians blew it open, and I lost my bet. So I'm wearing a Cleveland Indians shirt today.
I can't wait till we get to football season and the Jets win 2 games in a row,
Oh
and
boy.
he starts going nuts.
Yikes.
I will.
Them in those ugly '90s jerseys, but we won't get to that till football season.
Yeah, come on. Let's. I'm having a rough day already, but I am rocking a Cleveland Indians shirt on the show. All right, can we move past it now?
I
Let's move
guess.
on.
So
Is that going to be the whole show?
Warriors Clippers? No, because I can't hold my hand up that long.
Otherwise, you would.
Yeah, it'd be too tiring.
All right, so yeah, it was a big weekend in sports. Regardless, NBA playoffs started, the Masters, a lot of NBA moves off the court. Zion declaring for the draft. No one saw that coming.
Wow.
Biggest surprise of the weekend.
Just a lot of things. What do you guys want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the moves that happened leading up before the NBA playoffs. I think we should start with that.
Oh,
Stuff.
we did miss a bit. So a big bit of news that happened after we went off the air last week. Magic Johnson stepped down as the president of basketball operations of the LA Lakers. In what was probably the biggest shocker of the NBA season. And there was a lot of things that happened in this NBA season that we did not see coming. He called a press conference, didn't inform Jeanie beforehand. Nobody knew about his moves beforehand. And I believe in the interview he says he wanted to get the news out there first before he talked to Jeanie because he thought Jeanie would talk him back into the job. Where do the Lakers go from here after this absolute bombshell? That's the best way to put it. It was a bombshell.
First of all, I want to address the power that Magic Johnson has, because he literally has the card. If he does any work with the Lakers and he wants to get out of it, he just has the card of I'm Magic. Jeanie is doing stuff that I really don't know about. I'm not that close to Rob Pelinka. I'm Magic. I don't have to deal with this. I'm out.
I mean, he literally said that he didn't want to do it because he didn't feel like Magic anymore. He didn't feel himself. He couldn't be himself.
Pull the Magic card, and it will work at all times.
Wait. So can I use that at work? Just pull the Magic card, be like, guys, I'm not feeling myself.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have that notoriety.
You don't
yet.
have the championships. You don't have that LA smile.
Wow, shots fired, Malik.
He has a Cleveland smile right now.
He does.
He has that Indian smile, and that's. I hope it's just a one-day thing. But this is a move. This shows the disarray that the Lakers have been in this entire year, and it shows that honestly, I don't think they've had a well thought out plan this entire time. They've been jumping back and forth between quick ideas of, okay, Anthony Davis, that's gonna work. That's gonna work. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, we're gonna retool the team in the offseason, right? We're gonna get some guys over the summer for LeBron. Maybe we'll get Zion in the draft. Magic Johnson goes out to see Zion play in the tournament. Maybe we'll get lucky and get Zion.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
And if not that, maybe the year after that. LeBron's gonna be here. It's all just it's LeBron is the plan right now, and that's a problem. If you're the Lakers organization with all this mystique, and you might be the most legendary franchise in basketball, you have to have a plan, and you can't have so many different pieces and so many different people trying to come up with one thing, but in a different way and saying different things to the media. It was all just a mess.
Who would have? Oh, sorry, Malik.
I'm not surprised that it came down to something like this. If I was Magic, I'd pull the Magic card too. I probably would.
Is that going to be a phrase now? He just pulled the Magic card.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Luke Walton would have outlasted Magic Johnson at the halfway through the season? We knew, all right, Luke Walton's gone after this year. Luke Walton actually lasted longer than Magic Johnson.
Although it kind of makes sense though, because like Magic was like accepting of Luke Walton, and he like as soon as Magic's out there, Luke Walton literally has no defense whatsoever. Like Magic was okay with having Luke Walton as the coach. I felt like as soon as Magic was gone,
it was Jeanie that wanted Magic wanted him out. Jeanie wanted him there.
Okay.
That's why it was so interesting to me, because one of the first moves, which was publicized a lot by various media outlets, Magic wanted Luke out. Only reason he didn't do it sooner was because it was too late in the season. Jeanie wanted him there. Luke was Jeanie's guy. So once Magic left, it was just ironic that Luke was the one that lasted longer.
Well, I mean, Jeanie doesn't answer to Magic; she answers to LeBron. So
Jeanie answers to Jeanie.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's about it.
You bring up LeBron.
Oh yeah, that puts him right in the driver's seat now.
Who does LeBron hire as GM and coach?
GM, I'm not really sure.
His guy David Griffin already got hired.
Right.
I think we all know who the coach is going to be.
Who?
If it's not Tyronn Lue, then what's the point of any of this?
Well, I think
what's the point?
Well, they also have talked to Monty Williams, and I think Monty Williams is actually a very interesting candidate.
He'll get an interview.
Well, he's been an assistant coach for Team USA since LeBron has been in the league.
And Magic liked him a lot, but Magic is gone now.
LeBron definitely has a relationship with Monty Williams. And I think he probably has a better relationship with Monty opposed to Tyronn. I know they won a championship in Cleveland. They spent so much time together. But LeBron has known Monty since he was a young kid.
But Monty hasn't dealt with LeBron and everything that goes into him running.
But that doesn't matter with him getting the job, though. I think
that's crucial. Tyronn knows how to deal with LeBron.
You mean LeBron knows how to deal with
for a full
Tyronn?
82 game. They know how to deal with each other.
No, LeBron knows.
For
Tyronn,
a full 82
sit in the
games
seat.
and
I'll do what I
playoffs.
want.
Hey, Tyronn Lue won a championship too.
LeBron won him that
wasn't just
championship.
LeBron.
I was gonna say
Kyrie Irving won that championship for LeBron.
I'm-
if you want
Okay,
to go deeper
Kyrie, no.
into it.
Kyrie doesn't hit the shot if LeBron doesn't get the block. It goes deeper.
If it
The
goes
Cavs
deeper,
aren't. The Cavs
Tyronn Lue had a role
aren't in that
also.
position if LeBron doesn't go to Cleveland. We can go as deep as we want to go
Exactly.
with this. So it all comes down to
LeBron
LeBron.
is not the coach; he's the superstar.
Either
Tyronn
way-
Lue is the coach.
And Ty Lue did nothing.
Thank you.
I'm not going to go
No,
into this
he
deep.
did nothing.
No, let's get
I'm not going
He
into
did
this deep
nothing.
exaggeration of NBA fandom of LeBron is the king of everything and his coaches never matter. I'm not going to go into that. Tyronn Lue had a role in them winning a championship. He put the rotations together. LeBron wasn't doing the X's and O's.
No one's telling LeBron to sit down.
Of course.
No one. LeBron goes out when LeBron wants to go out. Tyronn Lue's not saying LeBron go sit down in a crucial situation. LeBron's going to listen.
Of course, because LeBron has an
Let's
amazing
let
basketball
me
mind.
go-
They make decisions together. It's not Ty Lue, shut up.
Ty Lue's
this
just a
is my
face.
huddle.
He's just a face on the bench.
LeBron.
I don't believe it.
Okay, let me take you back to
That's,
what.
that-
okay,
that's way too simple,
All right.
and you know it, Joey.
all right. How about I will?
You know it.
It's somewhere in the middle from where we're coming from. It's
in
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact, if Tyronn Lue said, LeBron, we're going to keep you out of this possession at the end of the game, that's not going to happen. What happened when David Griffin
Tyronn Lue wouldn't do that 'cause he's smart.
What happened when David Griffin tried to do that with LeBron? Just inbounding the ball. That was he had to place it up and he wanted LeBron to inbound the ball. LeBron said, no, I'm catching the ball, and just averted from any decision David Griffin made.
And because
LeBron makes the decisions.
a smart NBA coach
Because
knows
LeBron makes the decisions.
a good NBA coach knows that LeBron will make the good decision on the court. So why would you say, no, LeBron, shut up and sit down? Any good coach would say, LeBron, you are smart enough to make that decision, so I'll go with it.
All I'm saying is
No
LeBron
coach is
doesn't.
just going to be like,
LeBron
no, shut
doesn't.
up, LeBron.
LeBron's not going to listen to a coach's decision if it's going against him being in a prime situation to win a game.
And why would Tyronn Lue just blatantly make decisions that go against what LeBron wants?
That's what I'm saying.
They,
somewhere in the
they,
middle. That's
they,
why I'm saying
they
somewhere in
worked
the middle.
together and won a championship.
And so
To
Ty
get-
Lue has to do nothing
By working together.
Jesus
because he
Christ.
knows that LeBron is going to do what he wants, and he
Oh,
trusts
my Lord.
him.
That doesn't mean he does nothing.
I don't
He
see.
he
That's what I'm
sets
saying.
up
It's
the
in the middle.
lineups. He does the X's and O's. LeBron on that court knows what to do, even with the X's and O's. It's meshing together.
Somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
He puts a simple motion offense into his team, and he's coach of the year.
Did he? I don't think he's ever won Coach of the Year. Actually, he didn't
I
win
don't
Coach
think
of the
so
Year.
either.
No, I think it was Wayne Casey.
Now, Monty Williams does have a chance, obviously, because he has the pedigree. and he's
I'll say
close to
Ty Lue's the
LeBron, but-
favorite. Monty Williams is a dark horse as of right now. So Luke Walton did outlast Magic, but then they mutually agreed to part ways about a day later.
Another shocker.
Crazy situation. But then 24 hours later, he was already the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. Vlade Divac, Hall of Famer now, is it all going to his head? He
Listen.
fired Dave Yeager after the best Kings season in 13 years.
First of all, Vlade Divac got in the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. That is the Detroit Piston. Ben Wallace didn't get in. Which
Yeah.
the Hall of Fame standards are getting pretty low
Well,
these days.
The
Can we agree on that?
the argument that they made, which I heard a lot of ESPN people talk about, was that you have to look beyond Vlade's career as an NBA player and look at more of his international touch, similar to Yao Ming.
So are we going every All-Star international player
I-
made a bigger impact than a
I'm
just
totally with you.
American?
I'm totally
Yeah,
with you.
it's-
I mean,
yeah.
yes, we're a little bit biased with Ben Wallace.
It's not like he's
Um,
Yao Ming.
But if you-
Four-time
but if-
Defensive
yeah,
Player
if
of
you,
the Year.
If you
That's
just look at the numbers,
huge.
should have been 5 stolen by Ron Artest, and
Thank
I'll
you.
argue that to my grave.
I agree with you.
One of the greatest defensive players of all time.
They gave it to Ron Artest because they were bored of giving it to Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace every year.
Yeah. Undrafted, great talent. Vlade Divac, I mean, he played for some good teams.
But that's aside from what the actual story is. Vlade Divac is just this Kings organization. I can't put into words. You have your best season since 2007.
You thought they were going in the right direction.
They
still technically they still are.
Exactly.
But it was weird.
The Kings can't go a full calendar year without doing a Kings move. We thought for a second, oh wow, the Kings are actually being smart.
Exactly.
They're playing their young guys. De'Aaron Fox, he's progressing. They have a solid coach. They have the groundswork for a potential playoff team in a year.
Buddy Hield is finally coming out of his shell.
They actually won that trade too.
Yeah.
Let's be all honest with ourselves. We scrutinized that deal and said how bad it was because we thought they got so much of a lesser talent. Buddy Hield was the only name in that deal. They won that trade.
I don't
Hands
even
down.
remember all the details of that trade, to be honest.
It was like Buddy Hield to pick another young player. I guess we'll find out if this was the right move. Yes, we can criticize it now because I mean that's what you do in media. You criticize the moves as they happen, even though you don't know the result of it yet.
The most troubling thing for me is that I almost feel bad for Dave Yeager because he finally put together a good season with this team. Most wins they've had in forever. And I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of open vacancies around the league at the moment.
Does this remind you of the Mike Malone situation? The Mike Malone in Sacramento, how he had a solid season, didn't agree with ownership, he got fired, and now he is a potential coach of the year candidate with Denver?
To me, it does. He was the first coach that started getting through to Boogie Cousins, and it was showing because he was playing the best basketball of his career. And they just scrapped it.
Yeah.
Again, it keeps happening over and over again. Because this team, as long as they keep this team together, I assume they'll still be all right. Luke Walton is a young coach, and I'm sure he'll be good one day. But why? That's just like why? Why
Right.
do you do this?
It's a
Why do you
very
make this
lateral move at best.
I agree with that. I mean, we could all be eating our words here next April, but as of now, that's what it looks like. A move that he did not have to make. We talked about David Griffin got hired as the president of the New Orleans Pelicans. I think that's a great move. I think he's the perfect guy to handle this whole Anthony Davis situation. And I think with Griffin in the helm, he's going to want to take care of that as quick as possible. I think Davis will be moved by the draft. And I think he's the best guy for the job. I think that's the best move the Pelicans will make this offseason, is getting David Griffin in there. The other big story, DeMarcus Cousins came back in record time from his Achilles tear. Tore his quad last night going for a loose ball. Likely out for 8 to 9 months. He had the same injury Tony Parker had, where he was out 8 months. Tough. He was out 15 months with the torn Achilles. Now he's going to be out 8 to 9 with the torn quad. Tough news, guys. What do you think?
So we should basically be ready by December of next year, January maybe. So it's almost the same timetable, similarly at least. Man, you feel bad for the guy. It's gonna be almost similar. Luckily, he's younger than Isaiah Thomas, but it's starting to look very similar. Like he keeps getting hurt at the worst times. Like he's gonna miss another contract. He's not gonna get he's not gonna get a big deal here again. He's gonna have to take a smaller deal. Now maybe he'll definitely get a bigger than this minimum that he just got from the Warriors because he proved that when he came back he was fine. And this injury will be tough, but it's nowhere near what he just went through.
Yeah.
So he's at least proven that point, but there's no way he's getting his money that he originally wanted. So you almost feel bad for the guy.
He had money on the table from New Orleans.
Right.
Declined it. Just a bad business move. And you can't predict these injuries. Huge injuries. He was not an injury-prone player before this. 2 huge injuries. Anything you want to add to this, Malik?
It was his first time getting in the playoffs, so it's a really heartbreaking injury to see him go down like that. And while that injury sucks, it really, really, really sucks. I think this might be better for the Warriors without
Why
him
is that?
playing. I feel like they've been struggling to get him into the flow of that team, and it hasn't made them better for it. Now they can just focus on being the team they were before DeMarcus Cousins, which was a championship team. Maybe Kevin Durant focuses more and gets more into the flow of the game now since he can get more touches. Steph Curry is going to Steph Curry. He does his thing. Klay can get more shots. And they can just go into the regular flow of who they are from now on. There's no point where they have to stop the flow of the game, get Boogie going, and maybe be stagnant in their offense. They don't have to go slow anymore. They can go full tilt at all times. Once again, bad injury, but I think they could be a better team without him.
This year, I agree. I mean, if he was able to stay, if he didn't get injured, they probably wouldn't have the money to keep him. But
plus, Bogut is honestly a better fit. He showed
right now,
he showed
currently,
before,
I agree.
He's a better starting center for that team and what they do.
For the role they ask of him, yeah. They will miss him stretching the floor, but that's really the only thing. Bogut's a better rebounder, better defender, better shot blocker, better facilitator.
And it hurts their depth a little bit. I feel like
That's true.
I feel like they're not as deep this year. Like a lot of guys have stepped up in the past. I mean, they still got time, obviously. It's early in the playoffs, but it doesn't seem like they've had as many of their role players involved in games this season. And I feel like that's their biggest downfall, and at least Boogie gave them a little bit extra depth.
Actually, I think the guys off of their bench have honestly been somewhat of a surprise. Like, I think his name is Alfonso McKinney. Is that his name?
Yeah, he's a guard,
28.
though.
Yeah, he's been shooting really good off the bench. Quinn Cook has his minutes. Sean Livingston still gives you his minutes, and
I think Sean's retiring after this year,
Iguodala
too.
is still playing good basketball. So, honestly, I think they'll be all right.
Well, they're
With
going
the
to
way
be all
they're
right. They have
going,
KD and Steph,
And
2
Clay.
MVPs, along with 2 All-NBA players. Yeah,
and
they'll be fine.
the point you brought up of Bogut being a better facilitator, he knows that system in and out.
Oh, yeah.
And when he was there, he was a really good facilitator, and
Definitely. All right, let's transition to we're going to make our NBA playoff preview. We will break down the games that happened this past weekend. We didn't want to do our playoff preview before the playoffs started because we didn't know all the matchups. There was a lot of breaking scenarios going on. There was a lot of seeding issues we did not know about. So for that reason, we felt it would be better to wait the weekend, wait the first game 1, game 2, and then do our full prediction. So we'll get into that. First, let's break down what happened this weekend.
Magic in 4 every series.
Malik is
Just
rocking the
kidding,
Magic
just
for the
kidding.
NBA championship. Well, let's start out west. So we'll go out west and then we'll move east. I want to start with the game that happened last night that everybody's been talking about. We led the show with today. The Warriors and the Clippers. First game of the series. The Warriors won handily, 121-104. Not much to break down there. Steph had a great game. KD played very well. But game 2, the Clippers were dead in the water, down 31 with 7 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter. And they come back to win in regulation. The biggest comeback in NBA playoff history. Joe, what did you see?
Supposedly, they had a 0.01% chance of winning that game,
According to ESPN.
which, however they get those stats is interesting. But anyway, it's crazy. Man, I don't even know. I feel like, it's one of those times where the Warriors just fell asleep. They tried to coast, and the way that the Clippers play, you have to be careful because they're gritty. They do not give up.
And the Clippers have been known for their comebacks this season. They've
Right.
had multiple 20-plus comebacks. We saw it against the Pistons this year. They were down 25-plus, and they still came back and won.
Yeah, and it comes down to them just being a ragtag group. Like, Patrick Beverley's been all over the place, gritty defender. Montrezl Harrell, he's been all over the place himself. Landry Shamet coming out of nowhere. Shamet, sorry.
Shamet.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking.
He will now be known as Shamet on this show.
My man Danilo has come up big at times.
He looks like he should retire. I don't know how that dude still
He's
stays
still
on the-
young, though.
I know, but just the way he moves, he reminds me of Dirk.
Well, he's also been injured
He
like
just-
every year.
He looks like a faster moving Dirk Nowitzki. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not very fast.
So people forget about Gallinari. Like, he is still one of the better scorers in the league,
Best free throw shooter I think he's the best free throw shooter in the NBA.
maybe. But they just got so many guys. And then, of course, the Lakers made their dumb trade and gave him Zubac, too. So,
Apparently, according to the show, Zubac is going to lead the Clippers to an NBA championship.
and they have JaMychal Green. I think that was an underrated asset that they got there. I think he's a great talent. So they have just a lot of different weapons. And then, of course, Lou Williams, the best bench player in the league, can give you 30 at
He is
any
a bench
given
player
night.
by default. He wants to come off the bench. That's why he comes off the bench.
Right.
Lou
He
is
plays starter minutes.
he plays star minutes. Lou Williams is their star. He had, what was it, like 32 and 11 last night? Something like that. Something crazy. It'd be nice if the Pistons had a guard that could put on that display to go along with their big man game. But what's the ceiling of this team for the Clippers? I think their ceiling is 2 wins in the series, and that's the most we can really realistically expect from them.
I don't know if they can get another one. I feel like this is the time where the Warriors are like, all right, we got to be careful with this team, and they just put them away. Like Clay's going to have one of those games. That's my feeling.
Well, the problem is they have one of 3 guys that can get hot at any moment.
Right. We saw Steph Curry was amazing in the first game. And then they have Kevin Durant, which people are trying to say that Patrick Beverley's in his head, but I don't really
I think
see
it's
it.
so funny to watch. It's so funny to watch Patrick Beverley at 6'1" guard Kevin Durant at 7 feet.
6'9".
7 feet.
It's the funniest thing. ESPN will put up Kevin Durant, and they're like, "Oh, he's 6'9".
No, he's not.
Stop it.
He's
But
taller
yeah.
than he's as tall as Dirk.
Right. I just don't think that the Warriors are going to let that happen again. I mean, they were up 31. So already they were in the driver's seat. Yes, they blew it, but it goes to show you, like, they're still that much better, and they just kind of fell asleep, and I don't know. So, it was crazy, but it was a cool, fun thing to watch.
Malik, what did you see?
I think we should have seen some kind of Warriors letdown coming. This is one of crazy proportions, but I think one was coming. Just from what we've seen in this season and in the game 1, Kevin Durant just getting ejected just because. Like he's played with a reckless abandon. He's just turning the ball over. He just gets ejected just because his head is not in this season completely. Because he's a top 5 offensive talent ever, he's going to get 30 if he wants. But in terms of mentally being there,
They're still in regular season mode, is what it feels like.
He had 9 turnovers last night and took less shots than Draymond Green. I mean, it's insane to watch. Then you have the DeMarcus Cousins injury, which took air out of the arena. Kevin Durant fouls out. Patrick Beverley is in his head because KD is an off the dribble scorer. Patrick Beverley is so in him that he has to keep the ball above his head to try to get shots off. He can never get comfortable, just fouling people, turning the ball over. Steph Curry is trying his hardest, but when the Lakers have that kind of, the Clippers have that kind of momentum, it's hard to just keep on the superstar level at all times. And then, Clay hasn't gotten off to the start that he wishes he could have started off with. But there are certain players on this team that are on and off right now. Kevin Durant, I still think Kevin Durant and Draymond don't really like each other, but they just deal with each other to win. And Kevin Durant has to get his head into the game for them to win another championship, because at this point, it just seems like he doesn't care. He's willing to just get kicked out of a game. He doesn't.
His mind's already set on New York.
That's what it seems
Or he's just
like.
waiting for the finals.
His mind is set on New York.
You can't turn the ball over 9 times and just get kicked out willy-nilly because you're looking at the finals. It's more than just
You
that.
can get out of yourself.
That's
No, I
ridiculous.
agree. I think it's more than that, but I'm just saying I think that could be a factor.
That shows even more that mentally he's just somewhere else right now. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a big problem.
We do have breaking news into the studio, guys. Breaking news out of the National Football League. Demaryius Thomas
Retiring?
to the Patriots.
Oh.
Signing with the Patriots. Tore his Achilles in December. He'll be back for next season. I think it's an underrated move. I think if he gets back healthy, it's another weapon for Tom Brady. And Patriots are always relevant when it comes to the playoff race. So
Ever since Randy left, they've been trying to get a replacement. Chad Ochocinco didn't work.
they still win championships.
Josh Gordon can't stay off the, and we'll see what happens.
We haven't seen Demaryius Thomas in a couple years, though, because he hasn't had a quarterback. So
and, the Broncos haven't been.
we
that
don't
good.
know if he's actually declined or if he's just in a bad situation. So maybe this will put him and tell us what Demaryius Thomas is like.
Exactly. Regressing back to the NBA playoffs. Game 3 of this series, the Warriors and the Clippers, goes back to LA. Will happen Thursday, April 18th at 10:30 p.m. on TNT. Going back to the playoff race.
I really hope the Clippers take them 7.
They won't.
I
Don't
think,
get your hopes up.
I
I know you're into Magic, but
I think that's the type of wake up call the Warriors need.
it's not going to happen.
Them being taken.
They don't need a wake up call. We want them out.
Yes, they do.
We want them out. We don't want them seeing
the Clippers win would be cool too.
Yeah,
that'd be
won't
really
happen.
cool.
it's not going to happen. Anyways, the 4-5 matchup out west. Malik, the stare Malik gave Joe was just epic. Houston hosting Utah. Houston demolished the Jazz 122-90. Everyone's talking about how the Pistons guy ran off the court.
They did.
But so did the Utah Jazz.
Don't try to ignore the fact.
So did the Utah Jazz.
Come on.
They did. They lost by the equivalent.
They're blowouts, but it doesn't compare to that Pistons loss. It does not compare. That soul-sucking, depressing.
Did you watch the
Pistons
Houston
loss.
Jazz game?
Yes. That wasn't a soul. Houston is Utah is a good playoff, a real
Milwaukee is a
team.
playoff team. Milwaukee's a real playoff team. They're the only team in the NBA that won 60
But the Pistons
games
made it even worse.
with the MVP and the Coach of the Year.
The Pistons made it even worse, didn't they?
They didn't have Blake Griffin.
They made it look without Blake Griffin, they should be a semblance of a team. They're barely a team without Blake Griffin. Moving on.
Game 2 of this series will take place tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. That one's going to be on TNT. Again, we'll give our preview at the end of the show. Kind of just recapping everything we missed as a show once the playoffs started. The 3-6 matchup out west. Portland hosting Oklahoma City. It was a really good game 1. They play game 2 tonight on TNT. That's the second game of the night. Portland won 104-99. Damian Lillard and Russell Westbrook, that rivalry has gotten a lot of buzz heading into the series, and it really kind of showed a little bit. Damian Lillard had aggressiveness to him, a business-like demeanor to him. Started the game with a 35-footer, ended the game with a 30-footer. This is going to be a series that I could see be close every single game and go 7. What do you guys think?
I think Portland getting that game 1 was the most important thing they could have done in these playoffs.
Because they got ran off the court last year.
They've won 10 straight playoff games. They've been swept back-to-back years in the playoffs.
You mean they've lost
10?
Lost 10 straight.
Yeah, they've lost 10 straight playoff games. And Damian Lillard has been a big reason why they haven't been winning games. He's been very small once they got to the playoffs. They've only had a few guys show up. Him having a first game like this, it's showing that he's really growing. He's matured. He's not stepping down. When he gets his opportunities, when he gets openings, he's not waiting. Russell Westbrook kept leaning off of him. Russell Westbrook should know you can't lean off of Dame Lillard no matter how far away the shot is, because Dame has that type of range. Whenever he got his opportunity, he took the shot. He was confident. Enes Kanter.
I tried to tell you guys.
Okay, to be fair, yeah, he had 20 and 18. His defense was atrocious.
But guess what?
That dude gave up a bucket every single time.
In the words of Charles Barkley, when you put up 20 and 18 and you play like that, defense, that can suffice. When you play like that, the defense, that's all right.
They won.
That's fine.
But I think there's some red flags being shown by having Enes Kanter as your starting center.
Okay, if he doesn't play great, the defense is going to be a problem. That's
what I'm saying. He had 20 and 18, and that was just enough to overshadow his epically bad
fantastic
defense.
Game. Fantastic.
But it's not like Steven Adams is this great offensive center himself. So
but he's a great defensive center.
Right. And Enes Kanter is a good
really
offensive center. So
Enes Kanter's a good offensive center, a horrendous defensive center. Steven Adams is a great defensive center. And an okay offense. Balances out differently.
But guess what? Enes Kanter was on Jeremy Grant a lot, and Enes Kanter took
That's true.
Yeah, those pick and rolls, switching up the matchups. Terry Stotts did a really good job coaching that first game.
The 2-7 matchup out west, Denver and San Antonio. For myself going in, I know we're going to break it down a little bit more. I had Denver on upset alert. San Antonio, it's Pop. You can't, and I think this might be Pop's last year as well.
That's controversial because
I think it might be. Why is that controversial?
I haven't heard any word of this.
How do you think Pop's going to want to go out? Quietly. Literally be like, all right, I'm done. That's how Pop's
you
going to
think
end
if he
it.
just wins one series and then gets
I
beat in
think
the second round, he's done?
No. I think regardless, he's done no matter what. I think he's done. I'm just
That's
saying,
a big statement.
that's
Pop is done.
That's my Tyson hot take for the day. His Pop is done
All right.
after the season. But Denver has no playoff experience with this group. Yes, they had great regular season success, but it's going to take them some time to adjust to this style of play and this level of this atmosphere that they're playing in. Will it be enough? Will they adjust in time before San Antonio takes it? That's what we'll see. But it was a close game. Derek White had a fantastic game for the Spurs.
He bodied Paul Millsap.
Yeah, that was the freeze frame from that game.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys see from game one?
Just typical Spurs, honestly. No matter what seed they have, you cannot take them lightly because they'll always have got guys that have been there. They'll always have young guys that are ready to produce because Pop will have them ready to produce. And like you said, Pop, you can never count out Pop. He'll always, his guys will know what they're doing and they won't be afraid of the moment. There will be times where he won't always have the most talent, which is why he hasn't had really, really great teams the past few years. But those guys know the system. They play hard. They play really good defense. They know what they're doing.
Well, they just did a piece on ESPN about Popovich and talking about how he drafts his players. And Derek White is an undrafted, formerly Division II college player. He transferred to Colorado.
And Pop barely knows
to
the guys
finish
they
his
draft
career.
also.
And, you know, the relationship between R.C. Buford and Greg Popovich is so interesting to me because R.C. typically makes all the moves, and he's just like, Pop, I know you can do something with these guys. Here you go. And Pop's like, who in the world are these guys?
Exactly.
And then he actually makes something of them, and that's how it's worked for a long time now. And we saw it again. Derek White had a great first game. I expect this one to probably go 6 or 7, just because the talent level that Denver has and the depth that they have on their team, I feel like has to get going at some point. But yeah, just the tenacity of a Spurs team is always something you got to be careful of.
Let's move out east.
I say Spurs in 6.
We're not going to make predictions yet, Malik.
Okay.
Get it together.
I forgot we weren't making
Get
predictions
it together,
yet.
Malik. Just kidding.
I'm sorry.
I'm wearing an Indian shirt. I can't say anything. Game 1, out east. Oh, we got to break this one down. There's nothing really to break down. Bucks dismantling
Pistons got smoked.
our Detroit Pistons. They were down 15-4 in the first 2 minutes, and that was as close as it got.
I think it was more than smoked. I think
there's a different. Yeah, smoked is understating it.
They took the life out of them, stared at the life of the Pistons, and said, "Okay, you can keep living again, but we're just."
Giannis was Thanos.
My dad and I were
Huh?
cheering that the Pistons didn't lose by 40. That's what that kind of game
They
was.
almost lost. Yeah, it would have been if they lost. I think what was it? They lost by 42, it would have been the biggest loss in franchise history.
From the start, it was just a problem.
Yeah.
From the start.
If you guys watched or listened to the FS Detroit
Fox Sports
televised
Detroit. Yeah.
of that game,
I actually didn't.
it was so funny in the post game. Greg Kelser was trying to say that, the Pistons, they didn't come out flat. They didn't look like they were they were down 20-4 within 2 minutes,
Yeah,
Greg.
Yeah.
What are we watching?
Listen,
Like, it was bad from the start. The Bucks had 20 points, I think, in 5 minutes of game time.
I mean, I told you guys before the series started, before we even got to the playoffs, the one team I didn't want the Pistons to face was Milwaukee. I said every single game they played Milwaukee, if they met them in the playoffs, they would lose by 20 plus. I would be shocked if they lost any game by less than 20.
and that was with Blake.
And that was with Blake.
And it doesn't help
was
that
with Blake.
Thon Maker decided to go on social media, and Andre Drummond decides to make a fool of himself on national television.
Listen,
What did he do? How did he make a fool of himself?
So I was totally okay with the flagrant foul. That's fine.
First of all, that was not a flagrant 2.
I somewhat agree.
It's a playoff flagrant 1. If Joel Embiid hits Jared Allen in the head with just an elbow shiver and that's a flagrant 1, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Andre needed to play the ball a little bit more. That was the only problem. But I like the hard foul. You don't let the best player on the floor
But
get easy buckets. But with Andre as he's going out and waving to the crowd, and he was shushing the crowd at times. Like, come on, man, don't go back to your old self. That's not what I want to see.
Andre was the only player giving a little bit of effort last night, or not last night, but the last game.
No, I agree.
Oh, and Luke. I gotta give Luke.
Kennard.
I have to give Luke Kennard.
Last game.
Luke Kennard is yes.
He's my
yes,
only
Andre
positive.
gave effort, but Luke Kennard was the only positive from that game, along with Kyrie Thomas outscoring Kyle Lowry in game 1.
Yikes.
But he had 21 points, 4 for 5 from deep. Luke needs to play 35 minutes a game. Regardless of his defensive liability, your whole team is a defensive liability.
I was going to say, we've said that all season long. Their whole team is a defensive liability, so why does it even matter?
Your only semblance of offense outside of Blake and Reggie Jackson sometimes.
Yeah.
Langston Galloway needs to start regressing his minutes. He hasn't looked good lately.
I'm fine with Langston's minutes. You got to cut into Reggie's a little bit. Maybe put Bruce more at the point so he's not counted on. Well,
I haven't been super impressed with Bruce recently.
I'm just saying defensively.
Yeah.
Because Reggie can't stay in front of anybody.
And then Wayne Ellington has struggled.
Was cold.
And
he was ice.
The problem with him is that, when you got somebody that just chucks buckets, like whether he's missing or making, he's going to do it. So you win some, you lose some. And
I want to go off on the whole organization
right
now, but it's not the time. Come on. They deserve every bit of it.
We'll wait until after the playoffs.
Every single
how about this? We'll give you a 5-minute segment after the playoffs. Sound like a plan?
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
They had to use up an injury-prone star to be 41-41. That's all I'll say for now. They had to use him up till the last drop, to the point where he couldn't play in the playoffs. To barely get in, that's why I'll stop.
Well, the injury wasn't because he's been used up. Let's clarify that. He bumped knees, I believe, in the Orlando Magic game. He bumped knees with, I think it was Aaron Gordon, and that's where the knee issue came to fruition.
But we all knew.
But that's a freak. It's a freak injury.
He's
it's not
had
that
injuries in the past.
But I understand that. But
he gets injured easily.
But it wasn't that. Oh, the Pistons drained every ounce of it. It wasn't that. He bumped knees with somebody and he got the injury. It wasn't the Pistons put so much workload on him that he just couldn't control it.
It was bound to happen.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. But
that's a big reason why when we traded for him and it was the big contract, he was an injury prone star.
But I'm just saying, I disagree. That was a freak. It wasn't.
Which means injuries injuries just happen to him sometimes, and at the worst times, which was usually in the playoffs for the Clippers.
It's a big bummer because Blake had his best season of his career.
He's the one thing I appreciate about this whole
his
season.
Mentality, his style of play.
He's the only reason they were good.
He's the only reason they were entertaining, along with Luke.
I respect Blake.
Blake will always have a positive outlook, regardless of how people feel about the trade. People will recognize Blake and give him props for what he puts out on that court.
And Dwayne Casey was just given a bad team, so I can't get mad at him.
Dwayne Casey, honestly, I'm starting to really hate on Dwayne Casey.
It's not much you can do with this team.
I'm not hating on Dwayne Casey, but
and his rotations.
I'm trying to figure out if it's coming from above Dwayne Casey, because in Toronto, he got all these young guys to get going,
exactly
Dylan Wright and Van Fleet and Norman Powell.
And
all these guys,
he played them even before they were completely ready.
Right, he got them all developed, and now, we talk about it every week, Luke Kennard isn't getting playing time, and he's producing. Yes, he's looked a little bit.
He's
shaky
gotten
at times.
25 plus since the deadline, though. He has been getting significant improvement since the deadline.
He's getting boosted.
The true young player that has stolen Dwayne Casey's heart is Bruce Brown.
Yeah, and I don't really see it.
If Bruce can develop some sort of offensive game this offseason, then hats off to you, Dwayne Casey.
I think Bruce probably plays harder than.
Oh, Bruce!
He plays hard.
Bruce
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's what Dwayne likes in him. But anyways, Pistons got smoked. Nothing really else to break down there. Andre wasn't suspended. Blake says if it was his call, he would have played in Game 1. There's reports that Blake is out for the series by Yahoo's Vincent Goodwill, who used to report for the Pistons back in their heyday. That hasn't been confirmed by the Pistons. Dwayne Casey still says it's day-to-day. So, we'll see.
Sit him.
For everything Blake did for that team, he deserves to sit out and watch that train wreck.
Yeah, I just say, like, at this point, don't give him the chance to aggravate it or something.
Exactly.
I don't know if it could really get worse, but
All
like-
reports say the injury can't get worse through playing.
right. But I don't
So
know.
it's all about pain and swellness.
Knees and things are always spooky, so I would just rather him sit. It's not going to affect the team. Maybe we can get some development from these guys in these meaningful games.
I will say this. Blake Griffin was just this team. Like,
Are you
so-
back to the getting rid of Reggie Jackson?
Oh yeah.
Okay, thank
Him
you.
and Andre can go.
No. I got back to liking him again.
Yeah,
Now
for a
I
little
was
bit.
but I was still on board with trading him.
Okay.
Him and Andre go.
They need to go.
Package him.
They need to go.
I disagree with the Andre part.
Andre has value.
Listen,
He won't in a couple years.
as long there will never be a team good enough to fit his needs.
There in a couple
Andre
years.
Drummond will flourish on a very good team, on a average to below average team. He will have rebounds that don't amount to anything. That's it.
In a couple years, people will realize Andre Drummond can't develop an offensive game, and his value will go down significantly. It is. I feel like his value is at its peak right now.
Yes.
He's led the league in rebounding multiple times. Like people know what they're gonna get out of Andre night in and night out.
First player since Moses Malone to average 15 plus rebounds in a season.
Exactly,
That's fantastic.
but he doesn't make an impact, a big enough impact
Exactly.
for what Detroit needs.
He's not
If-
the type of center they need.
If Reggie Jackson was playing better, and man, pray that he doesn't. But if he was playing to like your guys' liking, apparently circa last playoffs,
The one season he had.
the one
yeah.
season that he had that you guys admit to say that he was good.
You have to admit it too.
That if it was that Reggie and Blake, I'd probably be okay with Andre.
He'd
But
probably
the-
have more of an impact.
But at the state that the Pistons are in right now, he has good value still. And I think that's why you need to move him. But they won't.
We'll talk about this.
That's
in
the
the
problem.
offseason.
They're terrified to do it.
No, Gorst doesn't want to.
Yeah.
I bet you. I guarantee
He's
you,
terrified.
I guarantee you, Stefanski has entertained the thought and it has had talks about trading him.
Andre is the face of the franchise. Even with Blake.
No, I
He's just
disagree
one of the
with that
fan
now.
favorites.
I think it's Gorst's favorite. Blake is by far the face of the franchise.
No.
Yeah, I mean I think it's shifting gears, but
Game 2 takes place tomorrow night. It's on NBA TV, but you can catch it on Fox Sports Detroit.
over under 25.
I say they lose by 22.
I can't wait to see the game. The first game in Detroit. I'm so interested.
It'll be a
To-
great
To
atmosphere.
see the turn.
It will be. At the introduction, it will be a great atmosphere. The first 5 minutes of the game, it will be a great atmosphere.
Till Giannis
Uh,
dunks the first basket of the game.
You know, it hurts me that my fellow Greek is just destroying my team.
Fans shouldn't show up for that.
I
They
bought
shouldn't.
tickets to Game 4. I bought them the day they went. I bought them at the pre-sale.
So next series.
Boston 4-5 matchup. Boston, Indiana. I think I'm really interested in this one just because of all the infighting in Boston. They won 84-74 in what was a blast from the past.
That was
playoff
a
game.
refreshing game.
I like
enjoyed
that.
it.
That's what I want to see. Not the 145 to 123 that Brooklyn and Philly played last night. I want 84-74.
Some of those.
Hard fouls. Some talking back. That's what I want to see. Anyways, Boston came back, won that game 84-74. I think Indiana can take this series. Even after Boston won game 1, I still think Indiana can take this series because I don't trust the Celtics to be consistent. They haven't been consistent all year. They've been a letdown all year. I don't trust them.
I still think they can make it to the finals. I've said this before. In this series, Indiana, they showed in that first game. Indiana doesn't have, without Victor Oladipo, they don't have the consistent offense to really challenge. That 74 was because of a drought of nobody can consistently score without Victor Oladipo. Celtics can still make the finals. They still can.
If the Pacers would have won game 1, I would totally be on board that they could win the series because of the way the Celtics season has gone.
That first
I
half
felt
showing
like-
was impressive for the Pacers.
Yeah, I felt like
But, yeah.
as soon as the Celtics get that win, they get the monkey off their back.
As soon as the Celtics clicked in, Indiana had no chance.
This game still could go 6 or 7,
Series.
but I think that the Celtics should pull this out.
Game 2, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. TNT. What do we have? Next matchup is the 3-6 matchup. This is a really entertaining series. Brooklyn, Philly. Brooklyn won game 1, stole it. D'Angelo Russell led that one. Joel Embiid played limited minutes because of his knee issue. He still played limited minutes last night as well. But Philly used a 51-point third quarter to take that game away. It was tied at 64 at half, I believe. This is another series I can see going 7. What did you guys see from game 1 and 2?
This is of all series, this is the one that should go 7 because these are two teams.
I think this one and the Portland OKC one.
Yeah, I think Kenny Atkinson, even though Philadelphia has the talent to have a 51-point quarter, so that'll happen sometimes. But Kenny Atkinson I think he's going to outcoach Brett Brown a few more games. Brooklyn isn't going to back down. I think Ben Simmons probably has another game of not doing much on offense, which he's only 20 right now, but isn't it insane that he has every gift except the ability to have touch and instincts on offense. It's insane to think that he has everything except that in today's NBA, which you need. But Brooklyn can win this series and it should go 7. Because when it goes to Brooklyn, I don't think Philly is going to blow them out either game in Brooklyn.
Joey?
Yeah, I think Brooklyn definitely has a chance. They're going to need one other player, though. D'Angelo Russell and Spencer Dinwiddie have been great.
Karis LeVert was fantastic in game 1.
Rodius Crocs,
right.
their
And,
stretch forward, the rookie, he's been phenomenal this year.
Joe Harris struggled in game 2. That's another guy that I like to watch. So if LeVert and Harris can get going for the Nets, I think they're dangerous. But obviously the Sixers have a lot of weapons too. It'll probably depend on Embiid's health because that's a little bit of a question mark right now still. But for them to bounce back the way they did in game 2, I think was pretty big. And that also might lead the Sixers to just ending this series early.
Game 3 is Thursday, April 18th. I think my math's right there. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to watch. We'll give our predictions in a second here. Our last matchup to break down, Toronto-Orlando. The 7-seeded Magic lead the series 1-0. The heroics of former Piston DJ Augustine. What could have happened if the Pistons would have finished 7? Man.
They would have got
Not
torched by
much.
Toronto.
Kyle Lowry probably would have put up the
Mark
put up
Gasol
30.
is on the Raptors, just so you know. He's a stretch 5. Andre Drummond
Do you
struggles
know
with
what
stretch
Kawhi
5s.
would have done? Oh
Did you
my
see
God.
what Brooke Lopez did to Andre?
Brooke Lopez is a Piston killer, first of all. But anyways, we're not talking about the Pistons. We're talking about Orlando and Toronto. They won that game 104-101. DJ Augustine hit the game-winning 3. They play tonight on TNT. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. Is there a chance Orlando steals game 2?
How Orlando won that first game still is
I don't understand that.
It's still
Kawhi
it's
was-
still insane.
I can tell you why.
He was in a different zone.
Oh,
in
wait.
that first quarter.
Joe can tell us.
I
He
can
was
tell you
insane.
exactly why.
Joe, enlighten us.
The Raptors didn't have Kyrie Thomas. Kyle Lowry scored 0 points in this game.
I want to
Kyle
know
Lowry
what
scored
Kyle
0
Lowry
points.
does prior to every game 1. The dude doesn't show up. Whatever you're doing before game 1s, don't do that. Do the complete opposite.
I have a very non-realistic theory of
What?
he's I think he may have sold his soul to be an all-star and a great regular season
So that
player.
he can't win the playoff game.
He sold his soul to be an all-star, but when it comes to the playoffs, it all falls apart there.
I'm not going to lie.
So-
I like that theory.
He'll take the all-star because before he was an all-star, he was just another average point guard.
He must hang out with Tracy McGrady in the offseason or something.
Oh, boy.
Tracy-
Shots
I love
fired,
Tracy.
bang, bang.
Taking
Hey.
shots.
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady is one of my favorite players of all
Boy.
time, but he never got anything done in the playoffs.
Never.
Man.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. So
This is exciting though because even if Kyle Lowry has a good game tonight, for the Magic, Vucevic didn't have a very good game.
Exactly.
Terrence Ross has come alive in the second half. He didn't have a very good game. And
what's their small
they have
forward's
some
name?
guys that
What's
are
their small
Aaron
forward's
Gordon?
name? The young
Jonathan
kid?
Isaac.
yeah.
Jonathan Isaac showed up in the clutch.
Yeah, he did.
He's showing so much promise.
He's improved a
He
lot.
has grown so much from game 1 to game 1 of the playoffs. It's crazy.
They're making the outlook for this Magic franchise a lot better because
All they need is a point guard.
they also have
And they got a good coach.
they have Markelle Fultz. There's a possibility.
Like I said, they need a point guard.
Oh.
Oh,
You can't
They
really
do
say
have Mo
anything.
Bamba too, though.
I wonder what they do with that situation because they draft Mo Bamba. They still have Vooch.
I think Mo
I'm
Bamba
interested.
turns into. I mean, I'm hoping
A Biombo.
it turns into like a defensive guy,
A Biombo.
first off the bench
Biombo.
kind of deal.
That has
Bismack.
his moments on offense.
But he can stretch the floor a little
Biombo.
bit.
Why do you
can't say
keep saying Biombo?
Because that's Bismack. He's describing Bismack
Oh,
Biombo.
he better be better than that.
Yeah, better than Bismack Biombo.
Either way, this is gonna be a good series.
All right, let's preview this now. Since we've gone through all the games that we've missed, let's start doing our preview. Toronto, Orlando. Who wins the series? How many games?
Toronto in 5.
Joey.
I can't wait. This is one.
We got to come
series-
to a group decision on this too.
I cannot.
I'm saying Toronto in 6.
I can't wait to see the game in Orlando because
I
I've
think
been
they
waiting
steal
so
one.
long.
It's gonna
to
be
see
a
a
good
home game.
atmosphere, I bet.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that atmosphere. The fans that are just confused.
Tracy
at an
McGrady
Orlando
will be
playoff
there,
game.
but I'm sure.
Oh, that's a bad omen.
That
is a bad omen.
he loves his Orlando
Let's hope
Magic.
Grant Hill isn't there too. Somebody might get
Anyways.
injured.
But yeah, so you got Toronto in 5, Malik. I got
Yeah.
Toronto in 6. Joe, what do you
Kawhi
got?
Leonard he's in a zone right now.
I'll
He's-
give the
he's
Orlando
gonna-
hope. I'll go Orlando in 6.
Orlando in
In
6?
6?
We're picking
Oh,
Toronto anyway, so
okay.
Okay.
I was
So
about
we're
to say,
picking. So
Jesus.
Toronto, but we have to pick games too. So Toronto in 6. We say as a group.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Orlando could sneak another one. Like I said, they have some guys that can explode off the
I hope
bench.
they get another one at home.
Yeah, that'd be
but-
good.
Let's go to the 3-6 matchup. Philly Brooklyn.
I think Philly. I think because of their talent, they win it. But I think the Nets show all the promise they need to let people know we're serious.
Brooklyn in
for the
7.
next few years. Nah, Philly.
And what?
Philly in.
You said
I-
Philly in 7.
I said
Interesting.
this. I said this should go 7, but I'll go Philly in.
Ooh.
Philly in 5.
It is possible for them to go in 5.
I'm saying
They could
Philly in
just click-
6.
I'm going 6. Yeah, I'm going 6. I don't think Brooklyn has enough yet, but they're gonna show people they're real.
4-5 matchup. Boston, Indiana.
Boston.
Pacers in 7. I think this is going to be I think this is a series that really a lot of people are just going through the hype of Boston, their talent base.
Who's gonna put the points on the board for Indiana?
What's going to happen when both teams went through droughts?
They did.
Both teams
but
went through droughts.
When the Celtics click in, they can get to 100.
They
When Kyrie
clicked in
Irving
because
is in his own, they can
if
get
they
to
were
100.
in Indiana in game 1, Pacers win that game. If that game one's in Indiana, Pacers win that one.
I don't think so.
What do you got?
Celtics and I'm going 6. Celtics and 6.
Joe, you're decisive.
Going Celtics in 4.
Hoo-hoo! All right, we'll even that out. We'll say Celtics in 5.
Okay.
Just I want it on the record. I picked the Pacers in 7.
I feel like the Celtics hype has died down a little bit, and they might elevate it back up right here.
We'll see. Milwaukee, Detroit. So I filled out a whole
What's
bracket.
the first West matchup?
So I
Pistons in 4.
so I in my bracket I gave the Pistons 1 game. Like before this like on the show I agree. I don't think the Pistons win a game, but I was like I'll just be nice to my team. I'll give them a game. This is the biggest sweep we will see in the longest time. Bucks in 4. Nobody else
Pistons
should
in
say
4.
anything.
Kyrie Thomas averaging 30 a game.
All right, Malik says Pistons in 4. I say Bucks in 4. I don't know how the heck the Pistons are gonna win in 4, but
Pistons in 3.
Joey.
Pistons in 5. Luke Kennard averages 40 points
So
the rest of the
Milwaukee.
series.
Yeah.
Milwaukee in 4.
God, that's depressing.
Man, if the Pistons, I don't even know how. Like, I can't even figure out a scenario of how the Pistons win.
Exactly. Giannis getting hurt is the only way they could possibly
True.
win a game. That's it.
And Brook Lopez
1-8 matchup out west. Like,
and Middleton.
We the entire team. Golden State and the Clippers.
Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 5.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're gonna get their act together.
I think I honestly expected the Warriors to sweep, so 1 game was a lot.
I was giving the Clippers 1 game going into it, and the way that it happened, I feel like the Warriors are really gonna bring him hurting on them next game.
4-5 Houston, Utah.
Houston is in such a zone right now.
Okay,
they're playing great defense and
They're
their
back
offense
healthy.
is picking it up. Yeah, exactly. And they're healthy. I think I'm going Houston in 5. I think Utah gets 1 at home, but Houston is on a different level right now. Utah got a bad matchup in the first round.
Houston in 6.
Apparently, Patrick Beverley's advice to Jay Crowder didn't work on how to guard James Harden.
Yikes.
Yeah, I'm going Rockets in 5.
He doesn't have the intensity Pat does. It's not the same.
I do think like Donovan Mitchell maybe has a good game and kind of leads them to a win, but other than that, I don't see it.
3-6, Portland, OKC.
I think a lot of people are still going to take OKC in this series.
Thunder in 7. That's what I'm taking.
Interesting.
I would like to see Portland win, but man, I can't see Paul George having another bad game like he did in the first game. And for it to be that close without Paul George producing, I feel like OKC is going to win, and it's probably in 6, unfortunately.
I think they're playing a style of basketball right now where even with Paul George and Russ on, they just want everybody to shoot threes. Like they just want everybody pulling, and I don't think that's going to work for them.
Dennis Schroeder though has been giving them 20 to 30 recently. So
he has, but I think throughout the playoffs, I don't think that's going to work.
We haven't had a 7-game series. We haven't picked a 7-game series yet.
I'm going Portland in 7.
And I have OKC in 7. What do you have?
He picked OKC.
OKC
too,
in
so
6.
All right, so we're going OKC in
unfortunately,
7.
the Thunder move on.
OKC in 7 is our pick. Then.
Yeah, I would like to see Portland win, but
Denver, San Antonio, our last first-round matchup. This was the team I had an upset alert. I picked the Spurs in 6.
I'm going Denver in 7. I think they also, once they'll figure it out.
You think they hit their groove?
Yeah, I think they have so much depth, and I feel like
I think there's going to be one big upset.
I just feel like the Spurs could go through a lull in their offense at times.
Well, actually, OKC's a pretty solid upset too. 3-6.
I'll also go Denver in 7.
Oh my God, guys, come on! Trust in Pop.
This is the NBA.
Trust in Pop.
The past few years, Pop has had solid teams that didn't do much.
You said in 6.
7. Denver in 7.
Both Denver in 7.
I
Yeah.
always trust Pop, but his team isn't always great.
All right. Let's go back east. Milwaukee, Boston would be the matchup, the 1-4 matchup. What do you think, Joe?
Well, the way Milwaukee is looking right now, and the way the Celtics are looking right now, I would say Milwaukee would have the edge. And I think Milwaukee could do it in 5 games.
I'm with Joe on that. Bucks in 5. They look too good. They still don't have Brogdon back in the rotation. Mirotic just got back. They have so much firepower. They have the best offense around the best player in the NBA. Honestly, I could see them sweeping Boston.
They are slowly, and they're like you said, Mirotic I think is a big key because he's just starting to get minutes, and he's going to be a big factor for them as the postseason goes on.
Malik, if you say Boston,
And Brook Lopez is back to like borderline all-star level.
He has the rightfully so the nickname Splash Mountain. That dude just shoots bombs from 3.
Talking about the
Milwaukee in
Pistons
7.
mistakes.
Milwaukee in 7, and you said in 5 too. So we'll take
Yeah.
Bucks in 5. Sorry, Malik.
I forgot that if Boston won the first round, they'd have Milwaukee second round.
Then we have Philly, Toronto. Philly, Toronto. So that would be the 3-2 matchup. This one's tough for me. This one's really tough. I think this one's going to go 7 for sure, just because we don't know which team really wants it more. I'm saying Philly in 7.
I got Philly in 6.
Philly in 7.
Could you imagine if Jimmy Butler guards Kyle Lowry? He'll have 0 points the entire series.
He'll guard Kawhi. The entire series. Oh, man. Golden State, Houston. That would be the 1-4 matchup in the semis. That's going to be a really good one.
Rematch everybody
Houston
would like
in
to
7.
see.
Houston in 7.
The comeback.
I like it, Malik.
Last year, they were up 3-2, and then Chris Paul got hurt. They had all the momentum.
Joe?
Houston in 7. James Harden finally figures it out in the playoffs.
This, unfortunately, could be the best series of the playoffs. I think the Warriors go 6. I think they figured the Rockets out, and they don't want to give them a chance this time.
I'm with Joey completely. I got Warriors in 6. And then OKC, Denver. That would be... So Denver would host that series as the 2 seed over the 6 seed. Malik, what do you see in that one?
last year Utah beat OKC because they were better. They were coached better, and they had a better a better overall team. I think Denver has a better overall team, and I think Mike Malone is a better coach than Billy Donovan. Nuggets in 6.
This Thunder team has a little bit of a chip to them. Russell Westbrook's playing a lot more under control than he did last year. Paul George was an MVP candidate for the bulk of the season. Defensive Player of the Year. He's a front runner. Steven Adams still playing solid. No major injuries. Yes, Andre Roberson isn't playing, but they've kind of settled in without him. I like Dennis Schroeder off the bench. I think this is the year the Thunder get past the semis and go back to the Western Conference Finals. Give me the Thunder in 7.
Yeah, I think I'm going Thunder in 7 as well. I'm not a big Thunder fan, but I love Paul George, and he's become a very clutch player for once in his career. And he's just playing out of his mind, I feel like, this year. I feel like him and Russ really have it clicking. And like Chris said, having Schroeder play the way that he has, that was always my biggest question, is their depth. And I feel like they've kind of proven it, and they've gotten some quality minutes out of guys like Jeremy Graham and Terrence Ferguson and stuff like that. So going OKC in 7.
Our Eastern Conference Finals matchup, I think I talked about this on the show, how it was destined, or maybe in our group chat, how I thought it was destined that the Bucks meet the Sixers in the conference finals, go 7 games, and the Bucks go to the finals. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the MVP.
Bucks in 5.
The best offense, best coach. You got Bucks in 5, Bucks in 7, Joe.
Bucks in 5. I'm going with Malik.
Golden State, OKC.
Golden State in 6.
Golden State in 5.
Golden State in 4.
Really? You don't think Russ gets a game?
Yeah, Golden State in 4.
All right, so we'll say
Puts
Warriors
all the Thunder hopes to nothing.
We'll put Warriors in 5. So that leaves Golden State versus Milwaukee in our NBA Finals. Chalk.
The 2-1 seeds.
Chalk.
Kevin Durant becomes a different player in the finals.
Yeah,
Warriors.
he always
he becomes a shell of himself.
he always steps up. Before it's been LeBron.
This is Giannis's first final. This is the first time Milwaukee.
If this was his second time, if this was Milwaukee's second time, second big run, I would be closer to picking them to make some noise. This is their first run. Give me the Warriors in 5.
Yeah.
I
Man.
think this is the Warriors' last championship also.
I do too, because Kevin Durant's going to New York. I think that's a done deal, to be honest with you guys.
I mean, we've seen what Kevin Durant could do to LeBron, best player in the league. Now Giannis is arguably one of the best players in the league.
Giannis is the best player in the league. Okay, top 2. Top 3. Top 3. KD, Harden, Giannis.
All right. And I just think that KD just likes to assert himself in the finals. And then I don't know what the heck the Bucks do with Klay Thompson or Steph Curry. Like, they don't really have anything for it. Like, yeah, Bledsoe's a gritty guy. He's a little bit bigger, so he can kind of shove Steph Curry a little bit. But we've seen Steph Curry has gotten really good at being able to, like, he's bulked up himself, and
Exactly.
he's
The
been able
Warriors-
to
He's an underrated
handle
finisher.
himself. Yeah.
The Warriors have a lot to contain themselves with, though, with guarding the Bucks' three-point line. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the NBA. They shoot it at a high clip. George Hill is their backup point guard, would be a better starting point guard for the Detroit Pistons, and he's their third-string point guard when Brogdon comes back.
But the Warriors also have Sean Livingston, who's been there
Sean's
multiple
been
times.
Sean hasn't been good this year.
But just putting that matchup, he can guard 1
And
through
versus
4.
George doesn't dominate that in any way.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they have Quinn Cook, who's been
I think the
a spark
Bucks.
plug at times.
I think the Bucks are the best matchup out from the East for the Warriors. I just think it's the playoff experience that gets a hold of them.
I think Iguodala takes one of their key players out.
See, I think you're putting too much trust in Iggy because he's getting old, man.
Come on, don't.
He's
just,
old,
as
man.
a defender, he's still top notch.
Okay, I understand.
He's still fan.
This day and age of
especially if
technology
you put
and
him on a player like Chris Middleton,
nutrition and
who
all
doesn't-
that guy looks.
Exactly.
He looks fine.
He looks better than some rookies in the NBA.
And we know how the Warriors like to kind
Some
of.
a lot.
The Warriors like ease their guys as the playoff goes on. We've seen Sean Livingston do it multiple times.
No
where he
Boogie,
just
though.
Steps up all of a sudden. I mean, Brooke Lopez would have been a problem for the Warriors no matter what.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like the one matchup that the Bucks maybe are winning. And Andrew Bogut's a better defender, so that helps them out.
So we got Warriors in 5. Sound like a plan? Joe wants
Yeah.
to say Warriors in 4.
The last
I kind of
ride.
do,
I know you do.
to be
The
honest.
very last ride.
Very last round.
But I assume that Giannis will have one breakout game at least.
Warriors get 3 championships. Steph and Clay, they got 3 rings.
The Warriors are going to have money. I wouldn't just count them out right away yet. After the season, even.
They're still going to be a really good team.
Right.
Well, that's our playoff preview. We'll keep you guys up to date throughout the playoffs. That's going to be kind of all we talk about for the most part. We have the NFL draft next week, right? We're going to do
starts April 25th.
April 25th. We are going to do a little bit. We're going to do a mock draft up until the Lions pick, and we'll probably sum up a bunch of different storylines. There's always a bunch of trades, a bunch of action that happens for the NFL draft. Anything else you guys want to touch on? I think there was a golf match that happened this.
Wow.
Oh.
There was a man named Eldrick.
Eldrick.
That he did something that he hasn't done in a long time. He got another green suit jacket.
Who's Eldrick?
Eldrick? Oh, he's this dude that got into a very big controversial thing with his wife, and everybody
Okay.
blew it up.
You
And he
know-
lost his endorsements, but Eldrick is back.
But let's talk
Eldrick
about.
is back.
I want to talk about the Masters as a whole. Like taking Tiger even out of the equation.
Eldrick.
I don't watch like a lot of golf. I'm not going to pretend like I do, but
Nobody
I
watches a lot of golf.
I watch all the majors
Shots fired.
at least. And this was just one of the most exciting weekends of golf that I've watched. Oh, probably in my lifetime. The whole field was like within a couple strokes of
Yeah.
each other, and then just even the drama with a lot of guys hitting it into the water on hole 12, I think it was, and then everybody starting to realize Tiger can do this, and like that drama building up, and it's one of the greatest sports comebacks of all time.
it
one of
might
the-
be the greatest.
It could be
Yeah,
argued,
it could be.
easily argued.
The Clippers have something to say about that.
If Zion goes back to Duke, he has
This
something to
is
say.
this is a comeback of unbelievable
LeBron
nonsensical
has
proportions.
something to say about that. The
You know-
3-1 comeback. I mean, that to be fair, that's one of the greatest comebacks in sports history.
Yeah,
Tiger Woods.
but and
Okay, Malik.
whether you like Tiger as
hold
a
on.
person or not,
That's what I want to find out here, real quick. Malik,
Tiger Woods.
are you a
lost-
Tiger fanboy?
No.
Okay.
he just
No.
talked about like his issues.
Oh.
And
continue.
I think
Well, he can be a fanboy. You can still be a fanboy and know about his issues.
nah, I don't.
I'm
think
not
so.
a fanboy at all. His story is out of this world.
Continue though. I cut you off. Go.
There's nobody, no analyst, no person ever thought Tiger would win another major tournament, let alone the Masters. He's even said he considered quitting golf
He
because
said
of
that
his
2
back-
years ago, right?
Yeah.
I
because of
think
his
he said
back
that 2
problems.
years ago.
2 years ago
2017.
at the Champions
Yeah.
dinner, he said that he didn't think he could play anymore.
He has to wake up at like 4 a.m. and stretch for 3 hours just to get going and consider golfing. Then you put in the losing the endorsements and all the other craziness. All of that, you get to the Masters and people just get back into the palm of your hands, and it's an insane
He
story.
tore his Achilles. He sprained his MCL. He
Experimental back surgery.
like multiple back surgeries.
And then you end it with the video of him hugging his son compared to with Tiger and his dad. It's a movie.
To be fair,
it is a movie.
Tiger. Nah, I'm not going to get into it.
It's a
Do
movie,
it.
man.
Go for it.
Tiger let his son just walk by himself for
I agree.
a bunch
Totally-
of it, and I just
totally
thought
agree.
it was a terrible
It was weird.
visual. It was so weird. It
When
was
Tiger's in the zone, nothing.
okay. Come on,
Nothing, man.
stop it with that one.
Tiger has an ego.
Yeah, he
He's
definitely
always-
does.
When Tiger is in his zone, nothing else matters.
Yeah,
When it's all over, of course you embrace your loved
and that's
ones.
why he got
But
into
when
some
you're
trouble.
when you're in the heat of the moment,
Oh my god.
go stand over there, son.
Woohoo! Oh, before the show, you talked about how you have a Tysick hot take. So the Tysick hot take of the day is going to Malik. Did you forget about what your hot take was?
My hot take was I've had a hard time describing it. So in simple terms, I think the Lakers and Pistons are very, very similar right now. Very incredibly similar.
How so?
The only difference is the Lakers are a legendary franchise that can swing a superstar every 5 or 6 years. They have LeBron, but besides that, what's the plan? What's the goal is, hey, we have LeBron, let's win a championship. Like I said, they jump in and out of ideas, not even plans. They jump in and out of ideas every 5 minutes. There's nothing to look forward to as a Lakers fan. Nothing. Once LeBron is gone, what's there?
I'd like
Pistons.
to have Lonzo
No leadership, no plan.
and Kuzma.
We really don't have.
And
They
Ingram.
do, but guess what? They
And
had
Josh Hart
they had a plan a few years ago
and LeBron.
in building up the young guys. But then guess what? Oh, we're the Lakers. We can get LeBron. Forget the young guys.
Oh, LeBron's
not-
interested in the Lakers.
There's no young guy plan anymore. It's okay. We have young guys. Cool. But LeBron.
You know what's
That's
crazy?
it.
This is
The
totally
Pistons.
side-
We have Blake.
We
look,
do.
look, we have a star.
Well, we're a
Look
small
at that.
market.
Superstar. It's crazy that LeBron really did want to go. This is a little bit sidetracked from what you were saying, but LeBron really wanted to go to New York. But that franchise was even in worse shape than LA at the time. So he went to LA. He wanted to go to New York. Now
It's
KD,
an odd age of
that's
basketball.
that's
man.
why KD wants to be LeBron so bad. Can we agree on that?
No.
I don't think so.
KD just wants to be liked. That's all Kevin
You're
Durant
right.
wants.
You're actually right. LeBron would never have a burner account.
Kevin Durant wants to be liked.
What if LeBron did have a burner account?
What if everybody declines being in Space Jam 2?
There are already people declining. to be
Giannis
a
Giannis was
Space
the
Jam.
first one. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
But, I mean, he's got his Banana Boat brothers that could be in it.
true.
How about all them showing up to Dwayne Wade's last game? That was sweet. That was so cool.
Oh, that was so sweet,
Carmelo.
guys. That was sweet.
Carmelo
Hey.
almost shooting a jumper off the sidelines.
But Dirk got Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, and Larry Bird at his game.
he's a legend.
Views from the Sideline, April 16th. That'll do it for the show. We will see you guys next time. Go Indians.
No more Cleveland.
The Pistons are a joke. Magic in 4.